Hello and welcome back everyone. Today, I'll be taking on the challenge of designing Amai Odayaka from Yandere simulator. If I find it necessary, I might also refine certain aspects of her lore or the way her character is portrayed, since she is one of my favorites. This video marks the beginning of a new series I'm making on Yandere simulator, and I sincerely hope you'll enjoy watching it. Without further ado, let's begin. On this screen, you'll see a time-lapse of me doodling and exploring various design ideas. As you can tell, I had a lot in mind, experimenting with different hairstyles, outfits, and color schemes to best reflect Amai's personality and overall aesthetic. To be honest, I actually really like her original design, but I believe it has the potential to be even more unique. Of course, I wanted to keep her iconic apron and headband, but I slightly tweaked their look and patterns. I've always liked the striped socks she wears, but I thought the stripes could stand out more by taking up a bit more space and becoming a more noticeable element in her design. I changed her school uniform into a cozy, vintage-style undersuit with shorts, layering the apron on top. This way, she stands out a little from the other girls who aren't part of the cooking club. I also don't really like that every rival is drawn in the standard school uniform. I believe that if each rival had an alternative outfit, they'd come across as more distinct rather than looking like identical toy soldiers. I wanted to give her a pair of gloves and rubber overshoes to suggest that she frequently handles messy kitchen tasks like baking or frying. To add a bit of charm, I gave her pearl earrings and a matching necklace for a subtle touch of elegance. I also added a large bow around her waist, both for aesthetic appeal and functional use, allowing her to tighten or loosen her apron as needed. I debated whether the bow should match the apron in color, but ultimately choose pastel pink. I feel this choice helps give her that cute, bubbly anime girl vibe while also capturing the cottage decor aesthetic, which I think suits her perfectly. As for her club leadership armband, I redesigned it, replacing the small cupcake icon with bold, capitalized text that reads Cooking Club Leader for a more straightforward and confident statement. As we move on from her outfit, I made a bold decision to give her a slightly chubbier figure compared to her original design. The reason behind this was simply that I didn't want all the rivals to share the exact same body type. I wanted Amai to feel more cutesy, almost huggable, if that makes sense. By adjusting her body proportions, I felt she began to give off the vibe of a warm, lovable, and charming young woman, someone who genuinely enjoys baking, cooking, and spending time in the kitchen. I also added some freckles, gave her a slightly tanner skin tone, and made her eyes a bit bigger and more deer-like to enhance that soft, gentle aesthetic. I felt that her silhouette wasn't distinct enough, so I decided to add short leg warmers to give her a more recognizable and unique shape. And finally, I included an ID card, since she's the president of her club, and I wanted her appearance to reflect that role more clearly. I wanted to keep her hair length the same, but I aimed for a curlier look to give it a softer, rounder shape. So, I made her bangs a bit wavier and gave her hair a slightly messier, more natural appearance. After all, we know she's a hard-working woman who prioritizes the quality of her work above all else, so it only makes sense that she wouldn't be checking a mirror 24/7. I also made her lips slightly rounder and fuller, as I envisioned her as a racially mixed character, perhaps half Hispanic and half Japanese. This decision wasn't just about appearance. I wanted her features to reflect a richer cultural background, which could add depth to both her personality and her story. The idea of including international students like her helps expand the world of the game, making it feel more realistic and inclusive. By giving characters diverse ethnic backgrounds, we open the door to more varied design elements, like subtle changes in facial structure, skin tone, or even how they express themselves. It also allows for more unique interpretations of their personal style, values, and relationships within the school setting. I believe Amai, with her mixed heritage and passion for cooking, could represent a beautiful blend of cultural influences, both in the way she looks and how she connects with others. After explaining each aspect of her design in detail, I moved on to creating a more refined portrait of her. I tried my best to ensure that the portrait aligned closely with her full-body design, capturing not only her physical features, but also the personality and warmth I aimed to convey through her overall look. Lastly, I exported her color palette, and at that point, the design was basically finished. However, as I looked over everything, it still felt like something was missing, something that would truly tie all the visual elements together and give her character a stronger presence. That's when I decided to take it a step further. For the final part of this video, I wanted to write some lore for her. I felt that adding a backstory would not only give her more depth, but also help viewers connect with her on a more emotional level. It's one thing to create a visually appealing character, but giving her a narrative makes her feel more real, like someone with dreams, values, and a life beyond the screen. I envision Amai as an international exchange student who originally dreams of pursuing a culinary career. She's sent to this school to temporarily immerse herself in Japanese cuisine and expand her culinary knowledge. Not long after arriving, she decides to start a cooking club, one that quickly grows in popularity and eventually leads her to become its president. During her time in Japan, she works tirelessly to understand and appreciate other cultures, especially Japanese traditions, flavors, and techniques, all in an effort to refine her own culinary style. But she's not just focused on personal growth, she actively shares her knowledge with the members of her club, encouraging collaboration and creativity. Under her leadership, the club organizes various events, such as student-run food distributions and school wine stalls offering homemade beverages and baked goods. These efforts not only strengthen the school community, but also make her a familiar and well-loved figure among the students. Her kindness, dedication, and warm personality leave a lasting impression on everyone, including Taro Yamada, the boy our main character, Ayano Aishi, holds dear. As a gameplay mechanic, I want Amai to be a surprisingly challenging rival to eliminate, despite being the very first one. Her widespread popularity and loyal fan base would make it difficult for Ayano to target her without drawing suspicion, which would naturally fuel Ayano's jealousy and frustration. I think it adds a compelling layer to the story if Ayano genuinely struggles to get rid of someone so well-liked and seemingly untouchable. To raise the stakes, I'd introduce a deadline system through the in-game calendar. Amai would only be attending the school for a limited time as an exchange student, and if the player fails to eliminate her before the set date, she returns to her original school in Spain. The twist? Senpai goes with her. Throughout the weeks she's at the school, I'd have Amai and Senpai gradually grow closer, giving the player multiple chances to intervene or sabotage their relationship. If the player misses these opportunities or fails to act effectively, their bond deepens, and eventually, Senpai decides to transfer schools just to be with her. This adds a sense of urgency and consequence to the gameplay, making Amai's arc not just emotionally intense, but also mechanically meaningful. To be more specific, I would implement a series of 5 large-scale food festivals organized and led by Amai herself. These events would serve as major gameplay opportunities. where the player must strategically choose between sabotaging the food being served or using the distraction of the festival to directly target and eliminate Amai. If the player chooses to sabotage the food, and does so successfully, the consequences are severe. Widespread food poisoning breaks out among the students, and Amai is blamed for the incident. As a result, her temporary exchange program is cut short, and she's forced to return to Spain in disgrace. This failure would not only damage her reputation, but also shatter the admiration and trust she's built within the school, making it a satisfying yet morally complex outcome. These festivals would act as timed milestones, each one escalating in difficulty, pushing the player to act quickly and cleverly before the final deadline arrives. For an alternative route where Amai is eliminated directly by Ayano, here's how it might play out. In this scenario, Ayano must carefully dispose of Amai's body to avoid suspicion. One option would be using the large industrial furnaces in the kitchen, originally meant for baking, as a means to destroy any trace of evidence. Alternatively, for a darker and more twisted ending, Ayano could dispose of the body by using the massive soup cauldron during one of the food festivals, effectively turning Amai into a gruesome secret ingredient. This version would be optional and hidden, serving as a disturbing but memorable secret ending for those who explore more sinister paths. Regardless of the method, the school would immediately initiate an investigation into Amai's sudden disappearance. If Ayano successfully cleans up all the evidence and avoids detection during this investigation period, she will have successfully eliminated her first rival, setting a chilling tone for the rest of the game. So that will be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on everything I shared today, so feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you think about the design, the concepts, or any suggestions you might have. If you enjoyed this experience, please consider giving it a thumbs up, it really helps a lot. And if you'd like to see more content like this, or follow along with the rest of this series, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any upcoming videos. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care and stay creative.